I'm going to finish one project at a time.
The next thing I need to do on this KDX 200 is finish modifying the electrical system for all of the street legal stuff. But that's going to have to wait until another video because a new dimension has been added to this project, and that's what I want to look at today. I was on the internet looking at cheap motorcycles for sale, and I found a KDX 200 motorcycle almost identical to this one for just $200. I'm not really interested in getting another motorcycle like this to fix up and ride, but
Of course not. Of course not. So you just kept looking.
Are you gonna let me finish?
Sorry.
Are you gonna let me finish? The parts are what's valuable to me. This is an older machine, so critical engine components like the crankshaft and the cylinder are not even available from Kawasaki anymore, so it only makes sense that I hoard as many of these as possible. I contacted the seller, he sent me some pictures of the motorcycle and said that if I came and picked it up that day, I could buy it for $150. So I got the coordinates, I got the money put together, we drove down to have a look. It was about a 2-hour trip, and when I got there, the man selling the motorcycle broke the news that even though the ad said that it was in running condition, he wasn't able to get it started. I didn't want to go away empty-handed, so I still bought it. We drove home, and here it is. 1991 Kawasaki KDX 200. You can tell just by looking at this that it spent some time outside. It's got the nice weathered look on the seat here. Faded plastic, rusty frame, rusty brake rotors. This front wheel bearing is a little bit looser than I would like. The engine turns over, it has compression, but this stay nut on the Kickstarter is not original. Somebody out there with a Daihatsu car is probably missing a lug nut. All of the oil has leaked out of this rear shock. You can see evidence of it down here, which will cause a pogo stick rear suspension. I wonder if I could do a bunny hop. Did I get air?
You did.
So that works. Probably not the best setup for a motocross track. One thing that worries me that I didn't even notice until I got the motorcycle home is that there is a coolant overflow tank right here behind this number plate that's hooked up to the radiator. So if the engine overheats, any excess coolant that boils over will be caught in this tank and not lost. There was a genius that owned this machine sometime in its past who filled this up with 2-cycle oil. That leads me to believe that they thought this was an oil injection tank and they could just pour oil in here rather than mix the oil in the tank. If anybody ran straight gas through this engine for any length of time, it will be completely toasted. My course of action for today is to see if I can get this motorcycle running. And even though I bought it for spare parts, if it runs, we're going to take it for a ride. As is. Bouncy bounce rear suspension, wiggly front tire, life insurance paid up. So my gut feeling here is that this will run. When we arrived to look at it, I was overwhelmed by the smell of old gas, and the guy was messing with the carburetor. So given the fact that it has bad gas in the tank and it has compression, I think that with just a little bit of help, we can see some life in this machine.
I wonder if I know enough about motorcycles that I could tell you what to do to get it running.
Might make for a long video.
It might make for a short video. Drain the gas. What is this? Is this accountability?
Jen's bike.
Why is it my bike?
It's your baby.
Okay.
We'll take the seat off first. Oh my. Not too bad. Not too bad. It's still liquid. Not expecting that at all.
What, the liquid fuel or my idea?
Your ambition with this project. Oh,
Careful there.
it's the same color as the motorcycle. But I think that's good because it means that it's mixed with oil. That's not the color of raw gas. And it doesn't smell that bad. This smells like new gas.
Clean the carburetor.
Good call.
Smile at me.
Look right at the bottom of that needle. Does that look like a clean carburetor to you?
Focus. Yuck.
That's something other than clean fuel.
Goop.
So you might be on the right track here. There it is. The fuel, or the stuff down there does not look like the stuff in the container. That smells like a piece of freshly varnished furniture. That smells like a gas station. I think somebody, in an effort to start this machine quickly, like when a buyer was coming to look at it, just dumped new fuel in the tank and started kicking. Even though the stuff in this carburetor is so thick you could lotion your hands with it.
Can you rinse it with some of that gas you took out of it?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't want that to go to waste, but I'm not ready to run it through the engine either. So let's see how this looks. 10 years worth of neglect on the side of a shed. Fresh fuel turns into tree sap. So I'll pull out this float. This needle valve is stuck. There it is. It's not supposed to look that way.
Do you think the carburetor's ruined?
Well, 2 of the past carburetors have been ruined, and they didn't look nearly as bad as this one. But I don't know. Do you remember what this piece is called?
No.
Do you know what it's
Wait,
for?
wait. It'll come to me. Oh, it's the thing that I called a whatchamacallit or a widget. It tells how much fuel goes through, I think. And you can get bigger ones or smaller ones.
Main jet.
Yes. It's for jetting.
Richard Jetting. That weasel! Richard Jetting. Pilot jet allows gas into the engine at low RPM. And this is probably going to be a corroded mess. I was wrong.
Let's put it back together and run it.
Okay, everything's clean enough to test on an engine that might be ruined anyway. There, now I think it'll do its thing. The carburetor is ready to go back on except for the float bowl. This is filthy, and the plug that goes in the bottom has corroded away, but I've got a spare. On the one hand, I don't like it that the motorcycle's been sitting for a long time unloved, forgotten.
I know how it feels.
You can't quit, even for the voiceover.
Not me.
But every moment that it's not being ridden, it's not being ruined by use. Okay, carburetor's on. What's the next play, coach?
I think you should take care of the oil and the coolant.
Okay. Waste of time, but okay. Is that oil?
That's oil. Is it coolant?
Well, watch. That's not oil. That's water.
Well, they don't mix.
Oh! That's oil.
I already told you it was oil.
Okay, here we are. The oil is on top, and the water is down here. We'll call this the Exxon Valdez example. Whoever put this oil in must have done it fairly recently. I wonder if it was the gentleman I bought the motorcycle from.
Fill up the oil tank.
Fill up the gas, top off the oil in the water tank. There, coolant tank is reinstalled. So what's next?
I think you should kick it over.
Just kick it, be done
Well,
with it?
put on the gas tank with some fuel in it.
Okay.
Let's see what it does.
All right, that gas tank is back on the motorcycle. I don't know if this format is the greatest idea because I may be causing my own obsolescence if I teach you how to work on motorcycles. You already look nicer than me. All right, there's about a half gallon of gas in there.
Should you blow out the air filter? Or is that a dumb thing to do?
Smart. That's smart. Imagine if the air filter, what we haven't even looked at yet, is a crumbled, disintegrated mess. The instant we start the motorcycle, foam ingestion, catastrophe in the combustion chamber. You're a genius. First, let's find a nut for the Kickstarter though. But hold that thought.
Did you find one?
I got one. Now, let's take a peek at that air filter. Sometimes you amaze me. It looks pretty good. We should get a light in here for the viewers. Or better yet, let's get the motorcycle out into the light because it's going to run momentarily. So this filter isn't brand new, but I can tell that it's recent enough that it doesn't just fall apart in my hands. So it's good enough for a test start. 4 kicks.
4?
4 kicks.
I'm going with 6.
That back end's a little squirrely with the bouncy bounce action, but I think this calls for two things. Switching out the rear shock absorber for the parts bike unit. Did you see me almost crash?
I think so.
Switch out the shock absorber, and then we'll go for a ride. And I mean you too.
Oh,
I don't pretend that I do everything perfect by the book.
that's one of your best things.
But look here. Instead of replacing the nut with the proper one on this critical suspension pivot bolt, somebody just used some wire.
The old wraparound.
It should be easy to remove though. What do you think it's torqued down to there, camera girl?
Hard to say.
2 twists?
Like 3.
Oh no.
What?
Water is mixing into the oil. It gets in through the water pump seal, which is behind this cover. Probably because this has been sitting so long, the rubber got brittle and cracked, and then when I started it up, it gave out all the way, because when we looked in the beginning, it was clean oil, and now it looks like a mocha frappe blendy soy. To replace the seal itself is a little bit tedious and time consuming. Stop yawning!
You're putting me to sleep.
So instead of doing that, I'll just swap this entire cover with the one from the other parts bike motor, which is underneath that towel over there. But first we'll do this. 3 things to do before we go for a ride. Perfect fit. Thank you for your sacrifice. Now I'll drain the coolant and transmission oil, pull off a few accessories so I can remove this cover.
So is this actually going to be my bike?
I'm afraid this might turn into a viable motorcycle.
You didn't answer the question.
If you like it, it can be yours. I'll warn you though, this will be more of a handful than the Ruckus. I've got the cover removed,
You make such a mess.
and the other one's off the motor too. Ready to go. Let's put it on.
Nice!
That was one of the attempts that I did.
Not the first.
I'll get this buttoned up the rest of the way. I've already replaced the shock absorber for better handling, fixed a leaky water pump seal, and now I'm lubricating the pivot joint for this brake pedal. You don't need a smooth action rear brake pedal on a parts bike. But I'm a hopeless case, and there's no cure. All right, time to see if we did any good. Test number 1, the rear suspension. What do you think this time?
I think no air. Give it your all.
I'm stuck to the ground.
It's about time you were more grounded.
Test number 2, am I still going to mix oil and water in the transmission? I think it'll be okay. If not, we'll just toss in an egg and some flour and make a loaf of bread. 2 kicks. Ow!
Oh!
We've been running the motorcycle for about 10 minutes. What's the verdict down here at the sight glass?
It's not milky at all. It's clear.
This engine runs better than the other one. It's a little bit late and cold tonight, but tomorrow we ride. How about this hill? Ooh, just like yesterday. It took me more than one night to get out here because of that weed eater video. But I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. I want to see if I actually like the KDX 200 motorcycle. I'm spending a lot of time making the other one street legal. I want to see if it's any good. I've only ridden the KDX 200 the few minutes today, and I spent about 20 minutes on the other one when we were still living at the cabin. I didn't even ride it long enough to figure out how badly the engine ran.
I'm getting my sea legs, I'm getting my sea legs. If you got a dab, you got a dab. First jump with KDX 200. This is a lot of fun, really. This bike run's good. You gotta watch out for these rocks. I haven't even thought about my front wheel. It's still turning. Think I can get this one? Oh yeah! I'm curious to see what I look like from camera girl's perspective. I think I'm pretty good out here, but we'll take a look at the tape. And I'll look like Big Bird trying to do jumps on a Razor scooter. I'm happy that I'm fixing up the other KDX motorcycle, but I think it did pretty good. I almost forgot. I think you need to go for a ride.
I'll give it a shot.
That's a girl. You can turn around here and go over there.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let's show them what for. Oh! Okay, okay. Medic, medic.
I think the hill's a little too steep for me.
Well, you made it up the hill. Pick a better excuse. Were you tired? Take 3. How's that?
That was fun.
One of the reasons I really want to get the other KDX street legal is so I don't have to push it into the back of the truck after your arms are tired from hours of riding. I've convinced myself that the KDX 200 is great in off-road stuff, but now I need to finish the primary project.
Oh, the Shasta?
The other KDX. A great afternoon. Thanks for watching.